Paul was staying in a busy city when a messenger arrived with troubling news. His friends in Galatia, whom he loved dearly, were being told they had to follow a long list of old rules to be loved by God. Paul sat with his friend Barnabas, his face serious. He knew he had to write a letter immediately. He wanted them to know that God's love is a free gift given to anyone who trusts in Jesus, not a prize for following rules. Paul began his letter by telling his own story. He reminded the Galatians that he hadn't always been a friend of Jesus. In fact, he used to be very mean to people who followed him. He told the messenger that he didn't learn the truth from a book or a person. God himself had changed Paul's heart on the road to Damascus. This proved that the message of grace he brought them was straight from heaven. Paul wrote about a time he traveled to the great city of Jerusalem with Barnabas. They went to meet the leaders of the church, like Peter. Paul wanted to make sure they were all teaching the same thing, that Jesus came for everyone, no matter where they were from. Even though some people disagreed, the leaders shook Paul's hand and agreed that his message was true. But things weren't always easy. Paul told the Galatians about a time in the city of Antioch when Peter stopped eating with his non-Jewish friends because he was afraid of what some strict rule followers would think. Paul knew this was wrong. He stood up and told Peter that in God's family, everyone is equal. Whether you were born a Jew or a Greek, Jesus makes us all one family. To help the Galatians understand, Paul told them about Abraham, a man who lived a very long time ago. Paul explained to his friend Titus that God didn't love Abraham because he followed a set of laws. Those laws didn't even exist yet. God loved Abraham because Abraham trusted him. Paul wrote that anyone who has faith like Abraham is part of God's giant worldwide family. We aren't like servants who have to follow rules out of fear, Paul wrote. He looked at a young child nearby and smiled. He explained that we are like children who get to inherit everything from their father. Because of Jesus, we can call God our Abba, which is a very special way of saying, dear Father. We follow God because we love him, not because we are afraid of getting in trouble. Paul warned the Galatians that being free doesn't mean we should just do whatever we want. He told Barnabas that true freedom is the power to love. He wrote that the whole law can be summed up in one simple sentence: love your neighbor as yourself. If we use our freedom to be mean or selfish, we aren't really free at all. How do we know if God's Spirit is living in us? Paul listed beautiful fruits that grow in our hearts like a garden. He wrote about a boy named Galen and his friend Lidus. When the Spirit is at work, Galen and Lidus aren't angry or jealous. Instead, they show love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Paul also told them to be helpful. If Lidus was carrying a heavy basket that was too big for him, Galen should step in to help, carry each other's burdens, Paul wrote. By helping our friends when they are sad or having a hard time, we are doing exactly what Jesus did for us. We should never get tired of doing good things for others. At the very end of the letter, Paul took the quill from Titus and wrote the last words in big, bold letters himself. He wanted them to see how much he cared. He reminded them one last time that the only thing that really matters is being a new person in Jesus. He handed the finished scroll to Titus, who prepared to carry the message of freedom all the way back to the friends in Galatia.